And now, it's that time of the week once again. Welcome to the Departure Lounge podcast with your hosts, Tom Whittle and Steve Wooldridge. Your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to episode number 68 of the Departure Lounge podcast here on the Departure Lounge YouTube channel. And of course, wherever you're watching tonight, whether it's Visions Aviation's Facebook or YouTube or our Facebook and YouTube, hello and welcome to you all. Hope you're all very well on this, well, at least here, lovely sunny Sunday evening. We'll get straight into it by introducing the guys that are here. So joining me as always, and I'm not liking the fact he's got yellow latency, but we'll see how that goes. It's Steve Wooldridge. Steve, a good evening to you from Pixel Land. How are you?
Yeah. Then, boys and girls, assuming you can hear lagging too hard, how are we all doing this week? Hope.
Yeah, very well. As noted or as seen, had to change the intro for the show because Facebook decided it was going to be an absolute arse and decide that it was going to copyright strike me and then not tell me why. So I figured rather than doing that, I'd change the intro. So there you go. Other than that, all good. All good. Decent weekend so far. So yeah.
We lost Antarctic all a bit of a blow, wasn't it?
We did indeed. Our Antarctica audience out there and North Koreans that were watching, we're sorry that we've lost you, thanks to copyright. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. How's your weekend been so far, Steve?
Yeah, no, I've been pootling around. Too much. They can start to get next week out and about all over in terrible standing. I'm enjoying myself.
Lovely.
The last kind of before that.
Awesome. Wonderful stuff. We'll keep you there, Steve. But also joining us, as always, from the north, it's Ian Hartley. Ian, a very good evening to you. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Tom. How are you? And good evening to you as well, Steve.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, very well. Not too bad.
Right.
Good, yeah, good, thank you.
Not too bad. How's your weekend been so far?
Quiet, really. I've started. If we're doing the model review after, I'll show you. But I've started building a tornado in the Gulf War livery, which is my favourite tornado of all time. So I might show you the seats later if I get a chance. And that's pretty much what I've been doing this weekend, just pottering around with that, to be quite honest.
Wonderful, wonderful, good stuff, good stuff. Right, let's get on to the reason why we're here this evening. Let's bring on our guest for tonight. He was here doing the rating liveries show and cause some controversy. However, he's here to cause some more. It is, of course, Samuel Taylor Ackroyd. Hopefully he's not freezing this time. Sam, good evening to you. How are you?
Good evening, all. I am very well, thank you. And there will only be more controversy if anyone brings up the 757 or A340. But other than that, I plan on having a good podcast with three amazing... I saw that, Tom. All right, you've made your point.
No, that's fine.
But,
We'll be on good behaviour.
What I think is the best podcast, or at least the best aviation podcast, in my opinion.
Did you say A340? Or A340?
Come on, Ian. Why?
Or did you say 757?
No, I'll tell you what he said.
Oh, he said A340, did he?
That's the one. Yeah.
Wow.
Anywho, right, let's get into tonight's show. Lots to cover before we jump into tonight's show, but we'll do a little bit of housekeeping first. Firstly, stick around by the end of the show because we have a humongous announcement in regards to who we've got on next week. Arguably, our biggest guest yet. So if you are intrigued to find out who that is, stick around. We've got a little graphic to show for that. We also have a brand new segment that we are debuting tonight. So you can stick around with that. And we, of course, will be asking for your input as well. Yes, your input as well. So do stick around if you want to get involved. You can follow us on social medias, as that's, of course, where we are. They're all in the description below. Give us a follow if you want to keep up to date with everything happening in the show. Lots going on, which we'll talk about later. You can also buy our merch in the shop, which is also in the description below. I've just realised. It's no good, is it? If the graphic ain't there. There you go. All just amateur stuff, I know. Visit the shop. Links in the description below. I wonder where it was. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show, just like Sam, do give us a message on social medias. You can also give us a follow in the Facebook group of the Departure Lounge community channel, which I'm sure our wonderful mod Gail will put into the chat at some point this evening. Yes, lots to get through. So lots of comments in there already. Can already see what we're doing. But Ian, if you'd like to say hello to the wonderful people that are in the chat.
Yeah, I'll just start from bottom and work my way up then, I think. Saw Samuel Taylor Ackroyd excited to be on the show tonight. Is that right, Sam?
Yes, very.
First comment at night. Well done, pal.
Excellent, good job.
Good evening to you, Gail. Doing a sterling job with the moderating tonight. And the pictures are put behind me are inspired actually by Sam's love of all 340s and 747s and whatnot. So good evening to Max Jet Live TV and Jack Rolls. See who else we've got. Mark Webber Wester, good evening to you. Catherine Sane Norman, I think there's a play on words there. I hope there is anyway. So it's Catherine Sane Norman. So good evening to you. Clive Everly, Welshie Kev, Visions International, he's on as well. He's saying good evening to, I think he said Tom and the mods. So that's not me and you, Steve, but never mind. To Jim Gemmell as well.
Oh,
Luke is here.
Someone's jealous.
Jules, Sarah Pass, Link Cable, Martin Woodridge, Loopy again, Clive, Catherine saying, no, I think I've just about gone through everybody who's there, and a massive shout out to there's Tom Hardy as well, and say good evening to you,
as you
Tom,
do.
and as you do.
Nice one, Tom Hardy.
Did I see Link Cable? Is it somewhere? Visions International again, girl. Jim Gemmell. It seems to be. It's moving as I'm trying to. Yeah, there it is. That's what I'm up to. Link Cable. So good evening to you. And the list goes on, and a big shout out to Tian, who sat opposite me and waving her arms for a mention. So
yeah, give us a shout.
There's Rob Brown as well. So good evening to you, obviously, Rob. Ryan Garland as well. Good evening to you. And Ryan Garland as well. Michael Painter as well. Good evening to you. And even Restream.io's put a little message in for you, Tom. So good evening to Restream as well.
Oh, I didn't know they were watching. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
You put that in there then.
Yeah, I think I've got everyone there.
Never mind. Right, love your job.
Right, not mentioned.
Let's go into this evening's show. Of course, do keep getting your comments in, and if you've got any questions for Jack, not Jack. Do you know why? It's because I was messaging him before. For Sam, sorry, my bad. Controversial, I know. However, if you've got any questions for Sam, do get them into the chat, and we'll ask him as the show goes on. I can imagine what the topics are going to be for the questions, so we'll go for that. Let's go into it. Sam, if you would like to give a small introduction to yourself, for those that may not sort of know who you are.
Right, well, good evening to all of you who are watching and listening to this podcast. As you can probably guess, my name is Samuel Taylor Ackroyd, and I'm an aviation enthusiast based at Edinburgh Airport in Scotland, but I do visit other UK airports like Glasgow Prestwick, Manchester, Heathrow, which I will actually be at a week today, and hopefully more airports in the coming future. as well as at international airports, which are included. And and I am a regular on the podcast as well. I've been on 5 times or something like that. I don't know, but I've already had one personal interview on this podcast before, but I hope to sort of improve it because I feel like I was a bit unprepared, as I tend to be.
Wicked, awesome stuff. Now you gave us a small list of things to discuss, so we'll go straight into that sort of side of things. You've recently been. We'll start off with sort of the main thing anyway. You've recently been to the 747 hotel, which I believe is over in, I want to say, Sweden, is it?
Yes, it's in Sweden at Stockholm Arlanda Airport, and it's called the Jumbo Stay.
Do you want to sort of just tell us a little about what that was like?
It's pretty much as you would expect, especially for such a big 747 fan. And as it's my favorite aircraft type, obviously you have to go if you get the chance. And considering that Norwegian Air have some cheap flights from certain parts of the UK, such as Edinburgh, and I think at one point they had some from Manchester as well. If you can travel to Stockholm Arlanda Airport to stay at the Jumbo Stay, then definitely do so. I mean, I stayed there for 3 nights and I loved the trip so much. I mean, despite one little issue that I had that I'm not going to start talking about because, it's a bit of a pain to just think about, really. But thankfully, it's all over with. But the trip there and back with Norwegian Air was good, but the main focus being the stay at the Jumbo Stay. And it was absolutely incredible. And if you watch my 42 minute something second video on the place, you'll see just how amazing it is. But of course, it is difficult to appreciate something off of a YouTube video. I mean, you actually have to be there to actually have the full experience. And but something that stands out from my stay and my YouTube video on the place is that, as you can see from the photo on the screen now, the manager there actually knew I was making a video because my dad, who I was with on the trip, ended up speaking to him and we all ended up having a conversation, and he was very enthusiastic about my love for the 747 and the fact that I was making a YouTube video on the place. And he gave me a key to a few of the rooms, such as one of the engine rooms. This is engine 3, and I think it's room 717 if I remember correctly. But he also let me have access to the other suites so I can film them for my video and show you all what they look like. And it was one of the best trips of my life, and it is something that I'm never truly going to forget. And I'm really glad that I got this trip done because I was looking forward to it for months and months, probably since October 2021 or something like that. So I'm just glad that I have the documentary type vlog on my channel to share the experience and share what a good time I had.
Excellent
amazing
stuff. I assume these were probably quite cramped, I imagine.
Sorry, what was that?
Were they quite cramped in terms of room, in terms of sort of room to move, or were they sort of quite spacious?
To be honest, they were all right. I mean, in the bathroom inside the cockpit suite, if you're around 6 foot tall like me, then you will have to bend down near where the doorway is because if I remember correctly, I think I actually hit my head at least once. But and in the cockpit suite, I mean, you only have a bit of room to move about, but it was still very good. And I mean, if you're claustrophobic, definitely don't stay in the engine rooms, especially the bedding area. But of course, I mean, you're always going to sleep on a bed in a hotel room, so I don't know what I'm saying there. But I mean, if you're claustrophobic, it's best not to stay in the engine rooms.
How many rooms are actually in the plane itself, Sam?
33.
Right. And are the upper deck rooms sort of better suites than what the lower deck rooms are?
Definitely, as the cockpit suites up there, definitely. And not only that, but since you get access to the private lounge, then yeah, you have more than just the cockpit suite to yourself. You have the whole upper deck to yourself. Only the cockpit suite guests and, well, I imagine the staff as well.
Yeah. What about, like, I mean,
Yeah,
a
it
lot
must
of
be
these...
huge.
Sorry, Steve.
I was going to say it must be hugely busy. Like, how far in advance do you have to book it? And like, was it totally full?
I don't think it was full, but I mean, I did see a few people, and if anything, I saw more people come in and go in just to have a look at the aircraft. And but I mean, yeah, there were a few guests, and we did end up speaking to a few of them. Well, at least I did, with another guest who was staying like one night, and I think traveling either by train to go to Sweden or travel on an aircraft from Arlanda Airport. I can't fully remember, but I ended up speaking to them, and I told them about how I was up in the cockpit suite, and they were, well, at least the dad was amazed. And the people who, well, knew that we were staying in the cockpit suite definitely considered us lucky.
What about, do all the rooms come with like en-suite facilities, like bathrooms and things like that, or are these shared?
Well, you definitely get your own private bathroom in the suites, like the cockpit suite, the black box suite, the single room suite. But in the back of the aircraft, there's like 3 bathrooms that the guests of the standard rooms and the dormitory rooms have to share. There's also accessible bathrooms as well, so they're big enough to get people in wheelchairs in there. So Jumbo Snape definitely comes prepared for well, lots of things that not exactly everyone would have thought about.
Yeah. And if you don't mind me asking, is it an expensive place to stay?
To be honest, no, not really. I mean, here, if you compare Swedish krona to pounds, it definitely seems expensive, especially if you don't know what the exchange rate is. But I mean, about 1,950 krona, something like that, will probably be something like maybe, oh, I don't even know, but it definitely won't be as much compared to the number of pounds. I mean, I don't know what exactly to make of it. Maybe it will be like, I don't even want to guess in case I'm horribly wrong, but maybe about £100 compared, something like that. But that's just per night. So, I mean, if you're spending a couple hundred quid there per night, I mean, there are cheaper places nearby, like the Radisson Blu, but they're definitely not as unique.
No. Well, you're paying for the experience, aren't you?
Yeah, but I mean, and mind you, I mean, the price that I just listed off, like 1,950 krona or whatever I just said, that's for the cockpit suite. So obviously it is going to be more expensive, and it's like half the price for like a dormitory or a standard room.
Yeah.
Did you get served airline of food while you were there as well? Did they come around with trays?
No, they don't. I mean, they don't knock on your door and ask you if you want any food or anything. Although, I mean, now that I think about it, that would actually probably make the place more like you're flying on a 747, if you know what I mean. Sorry for the bad ways of my me wording things. That's just an issue that I have, and sometimes things come out a bit funny. But no, I mean, now that I think about it, since I do know the name of, I think it's the manager there, who's named Amir, who gave me access to some of the rooms to tour for my video. If I somehow got in contact with him and gave him that recommendation, I'll definitely be sure to tell him that was your idea, and he might find it funny, and he might even fall through with that.
Yeah, I'm only on a 10% commission as well, so it's not too expensive for him.
All right. I mean, I'm definitely not even going to try and contact him, but about your wee idea. But I mean, to be honest, that would be pretty good.
No, good stuff.
I'm not.
Go on.
I was just going to say, not just a hat rack.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your channel and try and get sort of it noticed a little bit more. So tell us a little bit about how your channel started as we play sort of one of your videos in the background here. How did it come about?
Well, it's quite a long story, but I've had previous channels which if I'm being honest, I would probably upload the dumbest content in the world. I mean, back in the like 2017, 2018 and stuff like that, when skits and stuff like that were popular, I was doing stupid stuff like that on previous channels that I've had. And honestly, I had nothing better to do with my time, so I was very childish and thought that it was a good idea to do. After a few channels of doing that sort of thing, I did make my current one, which was made on March 18th, 2019. And I was posting a few different things which are now deleted on my channel. But I think it was mainly stuff like vlog style kind of stuff. I honestly can't fully remember much of what I was posting, but I know that I deleted pretty much all of it. And I was eventually led to start making travel content starting from January 2020. So a month after COVID became a thing. And I started making aviation related content at first, and then I started making content on other modes of transportation. I had a video on Edinburgh trams and one with the train company LNER, which was my most popular video at the time, but I deleted it at approximately 9,400 views because I wanted to focus all my attention on aviation related content because it's my passion. And well, because aviation was my passion since the first half of 2017, that's a different topic we'll get into later on in the podcast. I thought, as it's an interest of mine and I'm not really doing much to associate with it other than just watch the planes, why not document it? So make aviation related vlogs, but it was mainly plane spotting at the start. And at the start, if you've seen my first plane spotting video, unlike the one that's on the screen right now, the first plane spotting video that I did on my channel is very bad. But I mean, I think everyone's first few videos are always pretty bad, but you do improve. So I'm not too disappointed in myself. But I made that video back when I was 14 years old, less than a month before turning 15. So I mean, I've been doing this sort of content for the last few years now, and yeah, after a while I did improve. But if you've seen my first video, you'll know that when I use the text, I only give like a brief explanation to what the aircraft is, like the airline and the parts of the aircraft type that I know. I mean, here with the Ryanairs landing at Edinburgh Airport's runway 24, you'll see that I put Ryanair 737-800 landing, and with the Qatar Airways A350 clip from Doha, I've just put Qatar Airways Airbus A350 landing instead of A350-900. So, and it wasn't until the second plane spotting video that I started taking information from, at the time I was using Plane Finder, and I added more information like the flight number and where it was coming from and stuff like that. And then I started adding like the delivery dates and stuff like that. So, and then during the first lockdown, we were getting some rather rare and unusual movements at Edinburgh airports, like the Air China 747 registered as Bravo-2445 and an Air China 777. Well, two of those actually, but I saw the second one. I think the registration to that is Bravo-2039 or 3039, something like that. So when I recorded those videos, the videos did pretty well, especially the Air China 747 video. I was disappointed that I missed the landing of that, but at least I got the takeoff. And someone actually used that video without my permission, actually, but I think they deleted the video now. I wasn't too happy with it. And yeah, as you would have guessed, I would have improved my content a lot more when I discovered that someone had been using my content, but I only discovered that probably around about the end of 2020 and start of 2021, so around about 9 months after that video was basically stolen from me. And from the start of 2021, I started adding a watermark of my channel logo, which I still do today. In fact, I recently changed it to a picture of me filming my video of the Cargolux cutaway livery at Prestwick Airport on the 27th of December 2021, and so which means a watermark change and all that. But I mean, from 2021, I think my videos were improving. Well, definitely from the second half of 2020. I mean, especially when I filmed my videos of I think the video that I did improve my channel on overall was the video after my video of the Air China 747, which was the video uploaded exactly a week later, I'm pretty sure. It was my first time going to Glasgow Prestwick Airport, where I recorded my video of the Cargo Lux Boeing 747-8 freighter registered Lima X-ray Victor Charlie Hotel. And so that's when I started going to Prestwick more, and not including the aircraft info and stuff like that I did in my plane spotting videos when I film just one aircraft at a certain airport. So I did that, and it pretty much has been the same ever since. And I mean, yeah, and then a few weeks later, that's when I saw the Antonov 225 at Prestwick on August 2nd, 2020, and the crowds were very big. And in fact, well, I mean, I have talked about that on your episode of the Antonov 225 when I, at very short notice, came on and told my story of how I went to see it. So, I mean, anyone who's interested in that, go check out that video. It'll also get Tom more views, which I think he'll very much appreciate. And from 2021, I started making some more aircraft model and unboxing and reviews. But I mean, I made 2 of those back in 2020. But I made more in 2021 because I started buying more. But of course, they are expensive things, especially from companies like Gemini Jets and stuff like that. So, I don't really know what much else to say about that. I mean, that's pretty much how my channel started. And over time, I have been improving and have been seeing a lot of rare movements like the Antonov 225, the US Air Force A-10s, which you see on my video, which is Tom's displaying on the screen now. Very rare movement for Prestwick and probably for Scotland overall. In fact, 2 people who I know have actually said that's probably the movement of the decade, even though I would have thought that the Antonov 225 would have been. And but yeah, I mean, during this 2-day filming session at Prestwick, I definitely got a lot of videos. I mean, this video was the reason why I went to go see it, because of the A-10s. But I also got 2 military A330s, one from the UAE Air Force and the other one from the RAF. And of course, there was the Antonov 12, which, I mean, I think there's one at Prestwick Airport as we speak. And I mean, it's a bit of a rare movement for Prestwick, and I'm glad that I got a video of that during this 2-day filming session. In fact, the night between these 2 days, I actually didn't get any sleep because, I was too busy editing these videos. And by the time that I was pretty much done and I realized what time it was, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to get an earlier train than I planned and just head down to Prestwick from Edinburgh, just so that way I'm there, and because I've got nothing better to do. But yeah, I'm glad that I get to see a lot of these rare movements, both at Edinburgh and Prestwick Airport mainly. But I do hope to get to Glasgow Airport more. I'm definitely going to be filming a lot of videos from Manchester Airport in a few days. I'm going for the Atlas Air 747 and not Emirates A380, the Singapore A380. So those are at least 2 more videos to make. And of course, I've got an upcoming Heathrow trip a week today. And yeah, I'm really, like I already said, I'm very glad and I'm very privileged to get to see all these movements. And I'm glad that I am I've got to go in the direction that I have with my channel. But and normally I'm not really the kind of person who asks for subscriptions or anything like that. But now that I know that you can get a community page at 500 subscribers, I'm kind of wanting to gain, 104 more and gain that community page, since I do think community pages are awesome.
Yeah, lovely. When you come to Heathrow, Sam, is there anything in particular you're really looking forward to seeing?
Not really. I'm just excited to see the majority of heavy aircraft like A380s, A350s, 777s, and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it'd be decent. It's always good down there. Have you been before?
Yeah, I went down in April. In fact, that was my second trip series that I filmed in April, which is all on my channel. And yeah, I'm glad that I got those done and out of the way, because I mean, during the process of filming the videos that I have filmed after the 2 trip series. And during the editing process of the trip series, I mean, it took quite a long time, but honestly, I mean, it can affect your mental health and make you unhappy, and it makes you want to have these mental breakdowns, because at one point I felt like I was going to do that, because I felt like I wasn't spending enough time with people like my mum and my friends and other family members. That's one of the downsides of YouTube, honestly. And I mean, well, I mean, your mental health can be affected. You can be involved in a lot of crappy drama, which I was involved in back in May. And yeah, honestly, it's one of the, 2 of the downsides of being a YouTuber. But honestly, being a YouTuber is a great hobby.
I think it's like anything, Sam. I think you have to have a balance, haven't you?
Yeah, you've always got to have downsides. I mean, if anything, I think, you know what, just ignore me. I mean, I probably shouldn't even say what I was going to say next. Not because it was bad, but because it doesn't make any sense now that I think about it. But
just leave it. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. I understand what you're saying, though.
Tom's cut that out.
That's fine.
Incidentally, Tom,
Must have been really cool to see these A10s, especially sort of the mass amount of them.
I mean, getting to talk to a few people, but I mean, one of the people who I started talking to on the day of the departures, which you see in this video, who, I mean, I've been watching for a while. I'm not going to name him, but he does have a couple thousand subscribers, but he was honestly not what I expected. I was trying to be nice, introduce myself, and try and have a conversation with him, but he sounded like he just didn't want me there and gave me such a down attitude. But I mean, after I left and his friend arrived, I think they were talking about me, which, I mean, I could sense and I could hear a little bit, but I can't really remember what was said. That's just what you get with people these days. And it's the thing that I hate the most about this hobby. You think you can trust people, but you can't. But it's one of the reasons why, I mean, I do prefer sometimes doing this hobby by myself, making content on social media. But I mean, I have a few friends who I can actually trust and rely on, and that makes me feel better. And I don't think, one of them that I'm really good friends with, I don't think talks to that many people in the industry that much other than me and maybe some people that I'm not aware of. But I mean, it's good to have those kinds of people in the aviation industry.
Yeah, there's too much of it goes on. It really, yeah. I mean, I've only got a few hobbies myself, but I have never ever known, going like slightly off subjects, I have never known a hobby what produces such negativity than what aviation does.
Social media is the place where you get more of it. I mean, especially since, you know, messaging and phone calls and public posts and stuff like that. And
I think you just to rise above it, haven't you? And just, I mean, it's hard to do, but I mean, I've learned to take things like that with a pinch of salt. And you know, if these people want to be like that, then they're not worth knowing, Sam.
No.
You know, you're better than that.
Thanks. But I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, at least, I mean, even though you have a lot of toxic people, you do have those nice people, and more importantly, you actually get to do what you want in the hobby and actually record the videos that you want to record. So I'm not too worried about what other people have to say about me. I mean, if people don't like my content or they just generally don't like me for whatever reason, Tom, please cut that out or I'm going to dislike you. But I saw that. Even though
your videos speak for themselves, don't they? Your videos are quality. I mean, those A10s that I could have sat and watched them all day, to be quite honest.
I mean, you genuinely could after they landed because they were parked up there overnight.
Yeah, it's fantastic things to see.
Going back though, you are. I was going to say you are right.
Steve, go on.
Well, no, I was just saying you are right. There's a degree of mictate from plane spotting, if you like, but that's sort of why I started separate media, because if you put it on your personal page, it ripped you a new one for it, which is a shame. It shouldn't be that way, but it certainly is. But there's a sort of a community within it.
I mean, I do have my own personal page, which I recently created, and I've got a new Twitter and a new gaming channel, which I'm going to, try upload some gaming content to if I can get, if Amazon actually orders the microphone that my brother ordered me.
What sort of things are you going to be streaming on your gaming channel?
I don't know about streaming because it is quite powerful, and mind you, the laptop I do use is a 2012 MacBook Pro, so decade old now, but I mean it still works and stuff like that, and I can still edit on it. But editing the trip reports were very difficult. But the software that I'm using to screen record works and stuff like that. Even if I'm only recording like 1080p 30 frames per second. I mean, I don't care if it's only 30 frames per second. I don't care if it's 50 frames, 60 frames, 120 frames. I honestly don't care.
No. Just like Ken says, it's the same in every hobby. Social media, it's made it worse. But just enjoy your hobby. And like you just said then, Sam, you don't mind if it's 30 frames, 50 frames, or whatever, or what it looks like or anything like. If you're enjoying yourself while you're doing it, and the people who genuinely do care about what you're doing, your friends and like us three as well, for instance, you know, they get to watch it and they'll comment on things like that. And you're not going to get negative comments, are you? But the ones that you do get, you can just get rid of them, can't you?
True, yeah, but I mean, the only downside of doing that is that if they see that you've removed them or deleted a message or something, they know they've got to you. But I mean, I do have ways of just ignoring them. I mean, to be honest, you know, I don't even care if people leave negative comments on my videos anymore. I stopped responding and even liking them for a bit of time because the drama that I had with a few people around the UK, not just Scotland, I mean, put me off just talking to new people and just responding to comments unless I feel like it's actually worth responding to. I mean, yeah, I mean, whether or not I should start liking them again, I don't know. But I mean, if I do that, then of course people will know that I often check comments and stuff like that. But I mean, I do look at them, but even if the comment just says great video, I'm just not even going to respond to it anymore, to be honest. Not because I don't want to or anything, but I mean, there's not really much point, even though there's no harm in giving it a like so that they know that you like the comment. I mean, not everyone does that. I mean, even people around the size of my channel, they probably don't always do that. So, I mean, of course, I will look at comments. If I don't feel like responding, I'm just not going to, because, I mean, that's another thing and something that I want to pass on to all the people watching. Don't feel obligated to respond to people if you don't want to or if you're busy or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've done that to someone. And honestly, I mean, I know I shouldn't have done that, but, you know, we learn from these mistakes.
Of course, you'll always get your haters, won't you? A lot of it's just jealousy, Sam.
Yeah. But, I mean, the person I talk to is quite bigger than me in popularity. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, even though, I mean, I only started questioning him because, you know, he basically left me hanging. That's the only downside. But, I mean, if someone messages me asking me a certain question or something about my hobby or plane spotting or something like that, I suppose I can give it a bit of a response instead of, you know, just looking at the message and because, you know, you can see that someone has seen the message because it'll say either seen or on Twitter, the tick that says that it's been sent will turn blue. So, I mean, I suppose there's no harm in a little response, but I mean, yeah, it's rude to kind of just leave people hanging, I guess, but I mean, sometimes, I mean, if you don't want to talk to people, even if they're being nice to you, you don't have to, especially if you don't know them. But just do what you want on social media. Respond, Don't respond, post, don't post every now and then or inconsistently.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, as long as you're happy doing it, then don't worry about other people.
I think that's just the way the world, that's just the way we all are at the moment, isn't it? It's just the way. I mean, I'm an older generation than you, and I don't rely on social media or anything like that, and I don't really care too much for it, to be honest. I use it because it's just a way of communicating and stuff like that. But a lot of younger people just live on it, don't they? And I think,
sign of the times, mate.
I think that's a big problem, to be honest.
Awesome.
Anyway,
right,
we digress.
Let's jump into some questions from the comments. Not so much a question, but Jack Rolls says, Sam, I hope you really get a chance to make it to Bournemouth Airport. Something on your list, potentially?
Actually, no, but I mean, I know that 747s go in and out of there, but I mean, if there's like a regular schedule, and if I'm ever able to get down to Bournemouth Airport, I suppose I can. I mean, I think Bournemouth, I mean, whether or not it's nice, I don't know, because I can't judge or anything, but it looks to have a nice beach. And even though the airport is quite small, I mean, I like how you can get 747s there. I mean, whether or not they go on a regular basis, I don't know, but I've seen a few YouTube videos at Bournemouth Airport.
You know what else goes there as well as 747s?
Forgot about those, but yeah.
A340s.
I mean, if I'm being honest, even though I don't like the A340 or 747, if I'm at an airport and, you know, it's the movement of the day or a rare movement at a certain airport, I'll happily film it because if it's rare, then you want to catch it. But I mean, even some aircraft that I film on my channel, I'm not a big fan of. I just film it because, you know, I'm filming a plane spotting video or if I'm filming a video of a rare movement and an A340 or a 757 happens to be that movement. I mean, I've got a 757 featured in the video that went up about 13 or so minutes ago, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's worth a
Yeah,
look.
awesome.
I wouldn't make a special trip, but if you're down here for a holiday, it's worth half a day to come and visit it.
Yeah, true.
Wicked. All right, next question we've got from MaxJet TV Live, who asks, are you going to RIAT this year?
Sadly, no, because there's two reasons for that. One, I mean, even though I'm down in England anyway, I mean, I'm going to be in Yorkshire, so it's still going to be a bit of a distance. And two, when I first found out about Riot this year, it was like 2-3 months in advance, so not enough time to save up for hotel stays and stuff like that. But I'm going to try and go to it next year because Riot seems like an awesome thing. And I mean, when I see the videos of it from people like Bradley Penny, Aviation, and any other people my age or adults that go there, just anyone, and from the photos, I'm probably going to get a bit jealous. But I mean, it hopefully it's understandable as to why I can't go. I mean, right now I can't afford it, and I'm supposed to be with family anyway.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You can just watch the videos that me and Steve produce instead.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll be in the
I will
field drunk.
I mean, if you go there and you make videos over the 3 days that riots happen, I'll definitely watch them.
I'm there for departure day. I'm getting the best of the bunch.
I like that attitude, Tom.
Should be good. Right, so let's have a look here. David Hutchins, just very quickly, is saying, great t-shirt, Tom. I know, it's Steve's face, which you can get in the shop, which is in the description below. One thing you've recently been doing, Sam, is, of course, trip reports. And we've got one here in the background from Edinburgh to Stockholm on Norwegian 737. Talk to us a little bit about this, and is it something that you sort of want to introduce a little bit more to your channel?
Well, yeah, I mean, on the screen right now is actually my first trip report on an aircraft. Not my first trip report full stop, because like I said, I had that one on the rail company, LNER, before I deleted it, because I wanted to focus entirely on aviation-related content. And it's been something that I've wanted to do for the last few years. And, I mean, yeah, as you just saw in the video, I did add that wee map effects, which is something you can get on iMovie on macOS. And I thought that that's one of the things that would make the trip report cool. And, you know, if you've got that kind of feature on even just basic editing software, it's definitely worth using it, like I did for, well, at least for, I think the first two videos. I mean, in fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I forgot to use it in my two recent ones. But, I mean, I'm not too bothered about it, to be honest. But, I mean, yeah, like I said, trip reports are something I've wanted to do for a while. And it's one of the things that I decided to do while on this trip. I mean, so that way I took the two trips that I did to London Heathrow and this one to Stockholm Arlanda Airport to stay at the Jumbo Stay, to make videos of not only the Jumbo Stay, but also to make trip reports. And yeah, I mean, even though they're not the best trip reports, I'm still very proud of them. And a lot of people seem to like them, as they've been getting a lot of views recently, even though, I mean, lots of people get more views. I mean, for my channel following and for the amount of views that I've got, I'm very proud of the success that the videos received. And I mean, it was fun making them, despite being, you know, taking time to script and voice record and edit and stuff like that. But hard work pays off in the end.
Yeah, very good.
Even if you have to wait like a few years before you can actually make them, because of course, you know, the pandemic hit, lockdown happened, so you had to wait a lot longer.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, no, very good. Yeah, I imagine this was obviously quite, you know, what's it like to film a trip report sort of thing? How much work goes into it?
Well, it depends what kinds of trip reports you make. I mean, if you do what Simply Aviation or Sahar Farouk does, then, I mean, when you're just adding text from clips, then it's much easier. And of course, you don't have to worry about butchering words if you don't know how to pronounce them. But, I mean, and of course, when you just, you have the when you have voiceovers and the background music, obviously, I mean, I suppose it sort of takes away from the experience. But I mean, like I said, I don't care what people think about my videos. I make them the way I want to, and I make them full stop because I enjoy making them. So, I mean, yeah, but of course, I mean, there's downsides to making trip reports with text, because of course the text can draw your eyes away from the main focus, whereas with videos like this, with music in the background, and when you have, voiceovers and stuff, you can actually look at what's on the screen and not text. So I like this style of trip reports, like what Jeb Brooks and Paul Lucas and other content creators who do what I do.
Yeah, not bad at all. Just going through. Where was I at? Lost it here. Nope, I've lost it. I thought I saw it, but obviously not. No.
How long does the preparation for a video take you, Sam? So you know that you're going to Edinburgh Airport, for instance, you're flying to Stockholm on a 787. So do you have to prepare yourself and sort of script everything and what you're going to do, or do you just do it sort of as you're going through the airport? You'll stop and just think, well, this is where I can and do a bit of a voiceover and things like that.
I voice over them after filming, like people usually do.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, I mean, some parts I do in real time, such as parts where I say it's now that time for boarding and stuff like that, and the intro and the outro and stuff like that. So, I mean, of course, it depends on what part of the video, you have to, I don't know how to say this, but of course, you have to do research and stuff like that, like what I did. Not specifically with this trip report, because I started talking about certain stuff as voiceovers. I was filming a lot of stuff at the airport, so I can include this, or I can include this. If this doesn't look good, or I just simply don't like it, then I'll use this instead. Stuff like that you do, and then of course, you have to, you have to do research, like what I did with I looked at some other Norwegian air reviews to sort of see what I can expect on board. But of course, I mean, not every airline delivers, and other people's experiences can be a bit different, but I can get a rough idea. But I mean, here, little did I know on this trip, I wasn't going to have to wear a face mask, as you can see me wearing one in this shot of this video right now. Little did I know. I mean, recently, at the time of recording that, this trip report was filmed on the 14th of April, and you didn't have to wear a mask on board, I don't think. And that was pretty much the case with the 4 flights that I took during the month of April. So it definitely made the travel experience a lot better. And I think everyone would have thought the same thing.
Yeah. And do you find it quite difficult to be able to condense it down? So what would you say your average video is? Say half an hour, 20 minutes?
Well, when it comes to trip reports, I mean, they can be between 10 to 15 minutes long. But, I mean, of course, that could all end up changing if I make like big trips or anything like that, or if there's a lot to talk about and stuff like that. I mean, even with trip reports that are domestic or international, they can be around about the same length, where it can be 10, 15 minutes. It could be half an hour. It could be an hour, especially if you make full flight videos like the Flying Frenchman, or there's another French YouTuber, but there's also, I think Noel Phillips did it at the start of his time on YouTube as well.
Yeah. I was going to mention that you find that a lot of these like vloggers and things like that now, they seem to have managed to condense each of the videos down to under half an hour, I would imagine. Now, I don't know why they do that. Maybe that's just because it keeps people wanting more at the end of the half an hour. If you're watching it for an hour, perhaps it drags on a little bit. I don't know. But so you would just sort of condense it down into whatever sort of time it needed. You wouldn't try and condense it into 30 minutes. You would just say it's going to take 45 minutes. It's going to be 45 minutes sort of thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I pretty much, I don't really aim for a certain time for my videos or anything. I mean, here, if I've got lots of footage, or if I've not got lots of footage, then I'll just go by what I've got. And, if it leads to me getting a lot of footage, that's fine by me. I mean, it just means that, I mean, here, a lot of people do like longer videos, but some people seem to think that some people make them too long. I mean, here, even though you see a lot of these YouTubers who make like full flight videos, you think, okay, well, if it's this time, I'm not going to watch it. But in the end, they still get a lot of views, and those kinds of videos. I mean, I was watching the Flying Frenchman's one from London Heathrow to Paris Charles de Gaulle on Air France a few months ago, and I felt like, it's that feeling where you actually feel like you're there. Because, I mean, just walking through the, I don't know what they're called, the flat escalators. I'm just going to nickname them until someone can give me a proper name for them that you get at airports. Yeah. What was that?
Travelator.
I mean, when he includes that kind of thing where you just film even just walking along that, I feel like I'm actually there either with him or by myself. But I mean, it's just something to relax to, and you're not having to worry about too much text or talking or anything like that. I mean, I suppose it's a nice thing to watch. Maybe not all at once, but I mean, hey, if you've got nothing better to do and you feel like watching it, then go right ahead. Then that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Can I just ask about the safety cards as well? Do you keep them?
On the return flight, I actually was given one as some memorabilia because there was like 5 spare ones on the return flight from Stockholm Arlanda to Edinburgh. When I also went into the flight deck and talking to the pilots and the flight attendants, I didn't really think much about that on this flight, and I didn't do that on my EasyJet flight or my British Airways flight as well because of course you can't just take the safety cards because I mean they even tell you do not remove them. But I mean I've got a collection of British Airways safety cards that my dad managed to get off of eBay, which I've featured in a video earlier this year actually.
I've seen that. Yeah. May I ask as well? Do you know why you was in the toilet and you was doing this?
I was doing that because I mean obviously you can't hear what was said because obviously we're having the conversation right now on the podcast. But if you watch the video, I was saying I was doing that because at that part of the video, I was saying that someone who's around 6 foot tall can actually fit in there. I mean, I did that with pretty much all 4 of them. I mean, I didn't include the whole clip of doing that. I mean, I cropped it down a bit to sort of like another panning shot instead of just stopping it. I mean, it kind of depends on how long the part of the voiceover is, because obviously if it's too short, you sort of have to like trim down a certain part of the video a bit, which I had to do it with the toilet clips pretty much on all of the all 4 trip reports. Hopefully that doesn't sound too weird. I hope.
No, I just thought you'd mark your height with a pencil and you were comparing to last time you was on the plane that you'd actually grown a bit.
No, not gonna do that.
What's been your most and least favourite airlines to fly on so far where you've been doing these trip reports here?
Well, because I've only been travelling on 3, I travelled with TUI in June and July 2019 when I have the channel that I currently have. I just didn't make aviation-related content or anything like that. So, I mean, which kind of sucks because 2 TUI Dreamliner flights from Edinburgh to Orlando Sanford when TUI was operating to Orlando Sanford International Airport at the time. I mean, it would have been good, I suppose, but now they've moved from Sanford Airport to Melbourne International Airport. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I really wish I was doing this at the time because it would have been good for this kind of thing. But honestly, during the times that I've been making trip reports and with the 3 airlines that I've flown with in April, Norwegian Air, EasyJet, and British Airways, I was not disappointed. I mean, the only downside to all 3 of those flights was the EasyJet flight and the window being so dirty that I couldn't properly see out of it, and let alone film the takeoff and landing clips. Even though I did include like a time lapse and the sound of the touchdown and the engines, throttling up, it just wasn't worth posting the videos of takeoffs and landings, which is something that I'm going to be doing before releasing the trip report, releasing the takeoff and landing clip. But because I couldn't really do that with the EasyJet flight, it was quite disappointing. But I mean, it's no big deal, really.
No.
Incidentally,
Jack was asking about the. Oh, I was just going to say, Steve. Jack was asking about the type of equipment you use. Did you have to go out and sort of buy expensive equipment? Or do you just use equipment what you already had to do your filming and take your photos?
Well, it depends on what type of content. In my case, anyway. In my case, I mean, I have filmed the intros and outros. I mean, both with my phone, but also, I mean, I started out with using my camcorder for the intro and outro on I think definitely my first trip report with Norwegian. On the second one, I think I use my phone or my camcorder for the intro. I mean, with trip reports, I'll certainly always use my phone from now on, especially when you're filming clips from inside the airports, because some people are really picky about you filming, and they'll come up to you and be like, "Don't film me," or "Don't film inside this airport. This is an offense to the law. You must stop this right now, or you're going to get legal consequences." I didn't really have any of that on my trips, but I mean, on the EasyJet flight during boarding on the A320 back home to Edinburgh, one of my fellow passengers, he didn't say "don't film me," but he actually moved out my way to let. Well, he wasn't in my way, but he moved aside to let me and my mum on first, because even though I wasn't filming him, you could probably just see the back of his head, but I might have cut that bit out if I remember correctly. I mean, I don't fully remember, but I respected that, and he was all like, "No, please go on first. I don't really want to be recorded," even though it would have just been the back of his head pretty much, and I was trying to get the edges of the A320 door. But I mean, I respected that, and I think a lot of people would have gone a lot further than that. They've probably been like, "Delete that right now." But no, he moved aside. He was respecting I was filming, and he just moved aside to let me on first, and so he wasn't in the video because he didn't want to be. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that even though I think he was moaning to me about it, sort of. I mean, in a way, I mean, he was still respecting what I was doing and was just moving out of the way for, I mean, mainly his benefit, but I mean, it helped me as well. So, I mean, I'm not complaining too much, but that's why you should always film on a phone and not with a camcorder, because I think Joel from Travelino Blog, a friend of mine and a friend of Bradley Penny Aviation, who was on episode 2, and he actually filmed the inside the airport with a camcorder, and I think, if I remember correctly, Bradley was telling me about how he was told that he was promoting terrorism. I mean, I know some people can be strange and like, no, you can get legal consequences for that, but promoting terrorism, I mean, how does that make any sense? It doesn't.
People will be like that, won't they? I think that's just that negativity again, isn't it? But I think that people as well, I think they're a little bit more tolerant towards people recording, particularly with mobile phones, because it's not just aviation. It's when you go. It's when you go in town to buy yourself a new pair of jeans or something like that. You can guarantee you'll see somebody recording something with a mobile phone somewhere. And nowadays, rather than shy away from it, you just walk right through camera shot, don't you? People just, it's becoming normal, if you know what I mean.
I mean, lots of YouTubers do it, and they don't always experience this. Some people do, but I mean, if the airport workers and airlines sort of knew that this is the kind of thing that some aviation enthusiasts do, because I mean, some of them might even think, they're just using this for transportation or something like that. But I mean, especially like senior citizens who have never even heard of social media before, or have heard of it, but they just don't really know what it is, and they don't know what people do with it. I mean, some people can be like that, and if they see you filming, they'll be a bit picky and confused, so they'll actually go up to you and prevent you from doing it, especially if they don't understand you, or if they know what social media is. And I mean, of course, some people will be all like, "Don't film people," because that's people's main concern these days who are like that. So, I mean, I don't film people on purpose other than me and anyone who asks to be in my video, or if I'm hanging out with someone, if I'm making a vlog or something like that, then, I mean, of course, I mean, I don't really know what to say after that, but I mean, other than I'm not going to film.
No, I think what you have to do. I think what you have to do is just it's just carry on what you're doing, and then if you do get pulled about it, then you just got to respect other people's opinions. And if they don't want to be on camera, or if you get told not to do it, then you've just got to respect that boundary, haven't you, and not do it. I think that's the thing to do, isn't it? So sorry, Tom.
No, I was just going to say what we'll do is we'll leave it there for the time being in terms of the interview. Obviously, plenty to talk about, but say we've got a time constraint this evening. Get done by 9 o'clock. So we'll pick this up sort of another time. But obviously, thank you to Sam for joining this evening. We're not done yet. Obviously, we've got quite a bit of time left to go. But before we do, let's see, what should we do first? Should we do the guest for next week, or should we do the segment first?
To be honest, it was mainly just those things I wanted to talk about. Sort of just, talk about the 2 recent trips which we've done and how it went for me and what I had to do it. But and also the start of my channel, which whether or not it was a bit confusing, I don't know. But I mean, stuff like that. I do like talking about when I'm doing interviews and stuff like that. But I think Ian, when you were asking me sort of about equipment and stuff like that, because I started talking about something else after a bit of time, because it was mainly just trip reports and then filming other people was the topic. But yeah, when it comes to filming trip reports, I'll use my phone. Plane spotting, of course, I'm going to use my camcorder, which for those interested is the Panasonic HC V180 camcorder, which my brother got for me for my 14th birthday before I actually made the channel that I currently have. So that I use. It's not the best, but it gets the job done, and it's good enough for me. It records at 50 frames per second, but the software I use on my laptop, iMovie, pretty much reduces it to 30 frames. But I don't care, because people watch things in 30 frames per second, and I'm not picky like that. But of course, if the frames are too low, like 1 frame per second or something like that, obviously it's so bad. So 30 frames per second, 20 frames per second, 25 frames per second or above, I'm happy with.
Yeah, judging by your video on that with those A10s there, Sam, whatever that were being shown, it was fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom. Anyway,
no, that's all right. No problem. No worries at all. I think while we still got people here, let's do the huge announcement of who we've got next week that people were trying to guess. And I know Steve and Ian both know. Sam's been trying to guess all week long. A couple people have been trying to guess all week long as well. So, yeah. Should we do it?
Get it done, Tom. Get it done.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Come on.
I think we've been waiting long enough.
Been waiting long enough. Absolutely. Right, here we go. Here is who's with us next week. You might recognise him.
Hi, it's Jeremy Spake here, and I'll be joining Tom and his team in the Departure Lounge podcast next Sunday. Be sure to tune in to find out all about my aviation background.
Yeah, see, no one would have guessed that, would they?
Definitely.
Who is that?
Who is that?
Who is that?
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before.
Come on, you. All right. Well, Jeremy Spake.
I'm not playing around. I actually haven't heard of him.
For those who do know who Jeremy Spake is, as the Galaxy of Pleasure has decided to put Mr. Aeroflot himself from the hit series back in the late 90s called Airport, and of course more recently on BBC doing the Airport Return to the Skies. Jeremy Spake is with us next week. So we're looking forward to that. Have been looking forward to that for a very long time. Been waiting to announce that for a very long time. But yes, there you go.
A long time in the making, that one, hasn't it?
Hey,
now, can I just intervene here? Because even though this is supposed to be Ian's job, I see a comment saying he looks like Jeb Brooks. No, he doesn't.
Oh dear. Anyway, yes. So Jeremy Spake
that comment just got deleted.
Jeremy Spake is with us next week, so hopefully you lot can join us for that one. However, we're still not done tonight because we are doing a brand new segment, which we're going to introduce to you right now. Things that look like Condor. Yes, indeed.
Seriously, Tom, you couldn't have picked anything else. Honestly. Oh my God.
Could have picked anything else, but I chose to go with this because I think it's a right good laugh. So,
if it was Christmas, it'd be easier, but no. You had to pick the worst time to do it.
There's plenty of things. So, brand new segment of things that look like Condor. This is where you guys at home get involved as well. If you're out and about on your travels and you see anything that resembles the Condor livery, we want you to send it to us so we can feature it on the show every week. I've
got a stripy sock. Where do I send it to?
You can keep that. Anyway, let's begin with things that look like Condor. First of all, bananas in pajamas.
Now, surely you've heard of them, Sam.
I have, but I mean, honestly, I mean, here, the stripy pajamas, fair enough. The whole thing, no.
We're more looking at the pajamas and the stripes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so representing the blue is, of course, bananas in pajamas. Next one. Where's Wally?
Yeah, that's
You come
Yeah.
up with the worst characters ever, don't you, Tom?
Following
Let
on from
alone the
that.
worst segment ever.
Following on from that, sent in by Marco Barrett after our trip last week, and he was in Dawlish. The Harrison's Amusements Arcade in Dawlish.
Yeah, that's class. That's the kind of thing you want on it.
That's what we want. If you've got anything that looks like this, like in a stripe that represents or what you think looks like Condor, it can be literally anything that's stripy. If you've got anything like that, send it to us. We'll feature it on the show in this weekly brand new segment. And then lastly, representing the green, Kiss Me I'm Irish hat. By the Lord Jesus.
Oh, I'm not even worried about the stripe. I'm worried about the name of that.
So, yes. So, if you've got anything and you're out and about on your travels and you want to send it to us so we can feature it on this segment, do so. But for now, that was the debut of... Things that look like Condor. Yes, indeed. I'll take that off the screen now. There we go. So let's start to wrap tonight up. So let's do some shout outs. Of course, this is where we shout out people nearest and dearest, loved ones, family members, etc. And pretty much anybody you like. Sam, we'll go with you first.
Well, shout out and thank you to you three for having me on for however many times I've been on now. 5, however many. I mean, separate. I'll do you separately. I mean, Tom for being arguably the best host of the best podcast, and Steve and Ian for being the best co-hosts. And thanks to the audience for tuning in. Shout out to all of them, and shout out to all the people who have contributed to my channel, such as my mum and dad, especially my dad, since he drove me to a lot of the places near the start of my aviation YouTube hobby. But I mean, and also, I mean, here for taking me to a Stockholm Arlanda airport to stay at the Jumbo Stay. I mean, he paid for all of that as part of a Christmas and birthday present for me. So shout out to him for doing that for me, so I can make those videos. And anyone else who contributes to my channel, whether they are a family member or friend who takes me somewhere, or someone who I'm friends with, or someone I hang out with while plane spotting, like a fellow YouTuber or a photographer, or someone who just goes there pretty much just for the sake of watching a plane instead of filming it and taking pictures of it.
Wicked. Right, let's go with Ian.
So I was just reading a comment then. Thanks to everyone who's been watching tonight. Thanks to you, Tom, and thanks to you, Steve, for being amazing, like friends and hosts and things like that. And a massive shout out to you, Sam, for being our guest tonight. And it's been really, really interesting learning about, what you've been getting up to and things like that. I mean, we talked to you in moderators chat and things like that. But it's nice to have a proper full conversation about what you're actually up to, and also to let other people know about your channel as well, so they can subscribe to you. So thanks to just thanks to everyone. Just thanks. I'm just a jolly person who's saying thanks to everyone. Well, thanks to everyone.
Good stuff. Right, Steve, over to you.
Lovely. Tom, Ian, as always a pleasure. So thank you again. Thank you, mate. That was fascinating. So appreciate you coming on. Edmonds are watching at home. So special little shout out to my brother, the cat, brought me back in the A350 safety card. So thank you very much. That is me over and out.
Wonderful. I'll give a couple of shout outs very quickly. One to Sam for joining us this evening. It's been rather riveting, of course. So thank you very much for that. Ian, a big shout out to you for joining us this evening as well. Steve, of course, for doing a great job with the co-hosting. Gail and Jack, of course, in the chat, doing a wonderful job with the moderating. And of course, everybody watching at home as well that's contributed to the chat this evening. Very well done to you guys. Very big well done to you guys as well. So, if you missed it, Jeremy Spake is with us next week. One to look forward to, I'm sure. We will see you next Sunday at 7:30 p.m. For that show, episode 69. Don't get any ideas. Right. So let's say our goodbyes. We'll start with Sam first.
Right. Well, first of all, goodbye to you three gents for what am I saying for? I'm not shouting you out or anything, but wow. As you can tell, I'm not always prepared. But goodbye to you guys, and for everyone who's watching this, goodbye, ladies, gents, boys, and girls, and those who don't identify as either of those. Enjoy what's left of your week, and your Sunday night. I can see Ian finds that funny. Even though
I'm watching you struggling, Sam.
Right, yeah, but So goodbye to everyone watching this. I mean, if anything, that's probably the quickest way of summing it up, and I don't see why other people don't do that themselves.
So as you need to do.
Awesome, wonderful
Tip
stuff. Oh, he was talking then. Sorry, my bad. Carry
Right,
on.
I was just going to say, tip for any guests who come on the podcast in the future.
Oh, lovely. Right, okay.
Okay, lovely, yeah.
We'll see you soon, I'm sure. We'll see you soon. Right, let's go. Ian.
Yeah, just thanks to everyone who's been watching tonight and all the comments. And sorry we've not read all the questions out to Sam. But yeah, good night to Sam as well. And goodbye to everyone who's been watching. And see you all next week when Jeremy's on.
Looking forward to that. See you next week. All right, Steve, in the most Steve way possible, if you'd like to say your goodbyes.
And just very quickly in the shout out, it was a little bit amiss of me. Thank you, Gail and Jack. And I forgot to mention it. We do appreciate you being in the background and helping us out. Yeah, appreciate it. All right. Please stay safe, stay sexy, and until next time, take care of yourself. All right. Have a good week. Cheerio.
Awesome. All right. All that's left for me to say is enjoy your week. Hopefully it's not too stressful for you. Prepare yourself, prepare any questions for Jeremy Spake, and get them to us on Sunday night next week, 7:30 p.m. for episode 69. So for now, take care, have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next week. Let me just prepare myself for this. There we go. Bye-bye.